To support this podcast, go to positivesarcasm.com/donate. Any amount is appreciated. Once again, positivesarcasm.com/donate. Thank you and enjoy the program. Jay here, positivesarcasm.com, recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio. Sunday evening is upon you, folks. You can find me on Instagram at positives under blah, 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 blah. You can find me on Facebook.com/POS Sarcasm. You can also find me on TikTok, and you can also find me on Parler. Find me on the YouTubes, Positive Sarcasm, and Positive Sarcasm Podcast. Like, subscribe, share, do all the stuff. I am a fucking train wreck right now because I just everything is so much going on. I've got paperwork in front of me for houses and stuff. I've got finances to put together. I got a whole studio to move. I mean, my entire place right now, with the exception of the Spare Parts Studio, looks like it was just robbed by the fucking wet bandits from Home Alone. I mean, there is shit. Well, literally shit everywhere. I just went and moved my stove and my microwave setup and my refrigerator, all that stuff, getting it ready for a big move and stuff, and moving down to the mobile Spare Parts Studio, and there's just like mouse shit everywhere, just fucking boop boop boop. I mean, now I realize when Jews were referred to as rats, how offensive that actually is, because the amount of shit that mice leave behind. I mean, it was just, they just walk and poop. I mean, imagine just walking everywhere and shitting every single 10 seconds. I mean, I fucking hated these little things. I'm just cleaning. Like, originally thought it was like, coffee grinds, because I'm literally, I'm like just like fucking sawdust. Just the amount of coffee grinds that I was churning out from the grinding, and then the baking and the roasting, and then the pouring in the thing, and then sometimes I would miss a scoop and it would fall on the floor. But no, it wasn't me being dirty. It was the amount of fucking hantavirus that was laying on the ground. It was excruciating to look at, and it's like, okay, how do I, and then, I don't know, should I sweep it? Should I spray it with bleach? Should I fucking vacuum it? And then it's like, oh no, but then the vacuum's gonna be dirty, and it's like, I don't know how to clean this stuff up. I'm not a fucking chemist. I just know that this stuff is gross, and I'm not supposed to touch it. And then it's like, okay, so I'm like, there's a amount of that, and then it's like, okay, I haven't moved my stove from my fridge in like 5 years, so I'm gonna, all of a sudden, like, pulling that away is like fucking Jello mixed with concrete, the type of stuff that must be inside that crevice that's next to the fridge and the stove, and I pull it apart, and it's like, it makes that sound. So I pull that apart, and it's like fucking mustard stains. It's like, what the fuck? Ugh. So I pull that apart, and it's just fucking disgusting. So I pull that apart, and it's like, all right, well, the last thing of vinegar and bleach I got, it's like just spraying all that down, and obviously the sponge is no good, so it's like I gotta go grab that metal thingy. So I'm sitting there scrubbing this shit. I mean, it is wretched, and I'm not a gross person. I mean, I have a potty mouth, but I just was like scrubbing all this and moving all. It's just, it giving me anxiety, and then only to move it all again in fucking 3-4 months. Apparently, it's like, oh Jesus Christ. So doing all that, and then going down there, and putting all this shit together. I've never bought a house before. I don't know how this bullshit works. I mean, I bought a car a few times, and then it got, one of them got totaled. That was great. That gave me enough anxiety. So I got all this stuff. I'm like cracking my neck and stuff. My neck still hurts from that goddamn music video that I did. My neck still hurts from all that headbanging. Like, this whole side of my face feels like I have a fucking bolt going through it, and I'm just trying to pull it out like a fucking metal zit, and it's gonna take me another month to lance that titanium son of a bitch. So I'm trying to work on that. So I have all that house stuff going on. I have the moving stuff going on. I have other things going on in my head. And it's just like, is this shit stressful? And then it's like, I mean, on top of it, it's Christmas time, and That stuff doesn't bother me, though. The Christmas time stuff doesn't bother me. It's like, all right, well, I guess I'm just going to go do this and do that and be done with it. It's like, okay, fine. But all that together on top of it, I mean, I knew I was in for some stress, and I knew I was kind of along in some way, shape, or form, along for the ride, but damn it, it's just a lot of, like, hurry up and wait, and it's just shit. Like, there are now officially things that are outside of my control. Like, I know that I've done all I can. I think, or I've done as much as possible up until this point. The question is, what is the next step? But I look at all this. I've done all that, moving there, well, hopefully, and like the promise of actually the potential of actually doing it, like these dreams coming true, and doing that, and then taking all this shit and moving it down there, only to move it there, and then it's like on top of that, making sure the all this stuff is taking care of the podcasts and getting that, making sure the content is still good. Like, I'm looking at these articles. It's like, do I even want to read these fucking things? Does it really matter? Does it really matter? Are we going to get shut down another month? And on top of that, I'm looking at my stock portfolio, and it's like, is this going to, like, now I just got another email. I'm ready to have a fucking heart attack. Oh, this is good news about, oh yeah, well, that's good. Well, that's about my eBay. Oh shit, I just got another email. Jesus Christ. Oh, that's eBay also. Well, I mean, on a side note, for good news, my Super Nintendo HDMI was finally arrived, because the mail has been super slow, but, you know, I get it. USPS is probably doing the best they can right now with everything that's going on. I got like a little, I was like, shit, well, now let me back up, because my brain is so crazy right now. Like, so Super Nintendo only has 2 controllers, because it only has 2 controller ports, whereas an N64 has 4 controllers. But I wanted to go retro. I wanted a Super Nintendo, just for those little moments of playing Mario Kart. You know, when decisions need to be made, what better way to make those decisions than like a round of Mario Kart? So I bought one. It comes with 2 controllers. It's really small, but the one thing it has, the one I bought over the old classic Super Nintendo, was with this one, it has an HDMI out. So the old ones were RC ports, so you can only get the quality of the video was only as good as, I mean, it's still like 8-bit video, but still, you want to attach it to as neatly as possible to your new television. So it comes with an HDMI out. That's the cool thing. So it'll stream at like 720 from the console, which is super light, to the television. So that is super cool that everything's going to go through an HDMI out. That's super convenient. So, but the console actually is the old school cartridge. So I went to there's a place like eBay. It's called Mercury.com. MERCARI, where you can also buy used goods as well. You have to have an account through them, but you can buy used goods as well through them. I bought my HD camcorder, the Sony Handycam, which is running the podcast, which now is my primary shooter for weddings. I bought that through Mercury, and I bought that for like $3.50, which is super cheap if you were to buy this through eBay, it would cost you $600. No, excuse me. If you were to buy it through Best Buy, it would cost you $600. So, for record, to buy a Super Nintendo HD through eBay would cost you around $60 to $70. Here's the thing. I went and looked up Super Nintendo games, like if you were to buy a Super Nintendo game, if you were to buy like fucking Mario Kart or Super Mario World or any of the more popular games, it would cost you between $25 and $40 for a used Super Nintendo game. So like Super Mario Kart, it cost me $25. That's crazy. Like, it's amazing, like, how much the value is held in these games, or it's gone up now. I mean, holy shit. But, you know, for $25, I don't care about them. Like, don't get me wrong. I love the new games, but how much time am I investing playing in them? I don't need a PS5. I don't want a PS5. My PlayStation 4 was given to me. I have one game for it. I played it. We're done. And that was it. And the only other game I'm going to get for it is the Doom Eternal. And that's it. I'm good. Like, that's it. I don't invest a lot of time in games because I have other shit to do. But I think it'd be pretty cool to have a Super Nintendo console and have Mario Kart just because it was a cheap investment, and I love that game, and it's a ton of fun. and it's something I can play when people are around. But I mean, will I eventually get like a N64 too? Sure, because it's a relatively cheap investment. Whereas, I mean, how much are you spending for a PlayStation 5? But that's just like one of the things, like making sure that I get all of my stuff delivered to me in time. Make sure that all the products that I'm selling are going out in time, because I have hundreds of orders going out every week. Not hundreds, excuse me, tens of orders. Like there's shit. I'm getting emails all the time for receipts for things that I'm sending out. So I got to make sure those are printed out, and I got a pretty good system of how it's done. Like pretty decent. So that's all that's being handled. I have to have that done in a timely fashion, and then my personal life, and then all that shit. And like I haven't stopped. I know there are states right now that are coming to a screeching halt. I'm only getting going. And then I have to go out and think about, like, I need time to myself to sit down and think about how I'm going to create more content, or what kind of content am I going to create? You don't create vlogs in the state of New Hampshire. Like, okay, if you live in my type of state, there are two things you don't do. One, you don't vlog, because there's nothing to vlog about. And number two, you don't shoot drone footage, or drone landscaping, because that's all been done. Like the leaf peeper videos, that's all been done. You don't go and do that. The Kangamangas, that's like a highway that goes through the leaf peeper shit. That's all been done too. Ocean footage, that's already been done. Like I've already done all of that. Like I've done all of that shit. Somebody else has probably done it better. That's all done. So what else do you create? You have to create new original concepts that maybe people haven't seen through your channel, and other things of that nature, but there's not a lot more to shoot in this state. So you have to be really clever and have fun with your projects. And where do I find time to do that? Like, you know what sucks right now is, like, with the weather, like, if you get, like, say you're a person who wants to go out and shoot content at night or at the weekends, like, right now in my state, it's dark out. Like, 4 o'clock, that's it. Poof. So you have to learn how you're going to shoot shit at night. You have to figure out the lighting, what kind of gear you're working with, how your exposure is at night, if you're able to get enough exposure to get actual clear video. And then in the weekends, is it fucking raining? Because if it's raining, you can't go out and shoot, because it's, especially when you're on your own, it's next to impossible. So there's no point in going out and delivering mundane content. Go out there and create something interesting and get right to the point. Have a little fun with it. But, I mean, right now, like, my sci-fi juices are flowing. Like, I mean, yeah, I did get some initial shooting done with Cyberpunk. I got some initial shots done. But then it literally, I parked the Mustang, and then it fucking snowed the next morning. So I was like, well, that's the end of that. Production is now shut down on this set. So it's like, okay. But then I went and watched a really underrated movie, Star Trek: The Motion Picture. That's like it's the first movie featuring William Shatner and Leonard Nimoy and the, you know, Nichelle Nichols. It's the first one with the original crew. And the movie took its time. It was very sci-fi. It wasn't based on Star Wars. Remember, Star Trek came before Star Wars, but its content was very much like 2001's A Space Odyssey. It took its time. It was very artistic. Crazy CGI for back then too. But, like, I wanted to create some content like that. Like, I want to go out and make, like, I've been working with with special effects. I've been working with these orbs and seeing if I can do something with these. And I've been using them for Cyberpunk, the Chronicle Cyberpunk. And then I'm working on using these special effects for if I can do something kind of like fun. Something like, obviously something I can shoot on my own. And then work with it after that. Like, I want to see if I can use my own self and work with this CGI to see if I can come up with some interesting content. Because right now, with everything going on, it's hard to shoot legit content. Like, what do you call it? Lockdown content. Right now, that is the goal, is to shoot lockdown content. What can you do on your own without large productions? And I am geared for this shit. Like, this is my thing. Like, verbally, I'm not a verbal. Like, I already have the podcast. Like, that's my verbal. This is as much verbal as I can give you. Is twice a week for, on average, 45 minutes a piece. This is as much as I can give you. This is as much verbal as I can give you. I'm exhausted emotionally after doing one of these podcasts. Like there's not much more I can give you in fluid format. I'm like, because before this, I'm like, I don't want to fucking do this. And then after I'm done, I'm like, I am so fucking glad I'm done. And then literally I just want to hibernate. So that is very difficult. And yes, has the podcast taken over much of PS? Yes, it has. It has. But it's what PS started on. It started on the vlog, it started on the podcast, and it started on the articles. And I'm so glad that the podcast made its way back. And that the articles may, still have potential to do one every once in a while. But the other content, the fun content where I get my creativity and how I'm able to play with video editing needs to come back too. But that is, right now, lockdown content is the key thing to go to. So, for example, if you're used to like vlogging at like events where there's a lot of people, like for example, when I did a lot of traveling, when I went to California or when I went to Texas, that was travel content. Travel content's dead right now. Or when I went to food events are dead right now. And I'm not in a state or in a region where there's like newsy content like rioting or protests or any of that bullshit. So I don't fucking deal. I don't play with that. I was once in a region where there was protests, and it was over before I got there. Boston PD cleaned everything up, and that was it. I was there, and everything was fine. It was almost like it never happened. Except for that one time where I did go to Boston, and they had that, like, transgender fucking rally or whatever. But that was, like, in one spot, and then that was it. The rest of the town didn't give a shit. And that was it. And, I mean, I've been to, as far as lockdown content, I went to Worcester, Mass. And it was almost like they were in quarantine. There was nothing going on. And I still managed to make a vlog about that. I actually kind of enjoy that one when I really think about it, because I was easily able to talk a ton of shit about a town that sucks and compare it to a town that, I mean, was good. Right now I don't know what it's like. But that's right now the key thing is, are you able to shoot lockdown content? Are you able to do the vast majority of shooting, being the primary person in the content, like nobody else, and make something with that? And then edit it afterwards, and then have something tangible for people to be like, oh, that's cool. Like right now I'm watching like these Lego videos on YouTube. Yeah, I know, right? Like there are guys out there like LDM Bricks and whatnot. They literally create battle scenes from like World War II and World War I and Napoleon and Vietnam and Afghanistan and Somalia, and they literally they recreate these battles using Legos. They create these giant landscapes of, like, go ahead and look up D-Day Normandy Legos, or look up Modern Warfare Legos, or Black Hawk Down Legos, or Napoleon Legos, anything like that. And you will see, like, they build these entire landscapes of stop motion animation using only Legos. And a lot of them use like CG, and some of it's pretty graphic. Like you can see a Lego man going up onto Normandy D-Day and getting his legs blown off. And it's like, what? The detail on it is so good. And the stop motion is so awesome. Like, I've watched like 50 of them. Like, it's so cool. But these guys, like, they have like conventions where they show off like their entire setup of how they create like the trucks that in the landing cruisers that show up on the Normandy beach, and then they show like the whole German front line, and it's so crazy the amount of detail they put in to making these, not just the creation of the miniature layout, and then actually putting it into motion is incredible. Absolutely incredible. And some of these guys do like 5-part series. One guy did a 5-part series of Band of Brothers in Lego format. Another guy did a 5-part scene of what do you call it? A scene of a truck going into like into Iraq or whatever. and doing that whole thing. It's like a whole hour long of just this whole thing playing out. It's absolutely incredible. You can definitely go and check out that content if you get a chance. Literally just YouTube Lego Warfare, and don't look at the CGI ones, the actual stop motion animation, not the special effects ones. You don't want those. Those are stupid. I'm talking about the actual stop motion animation, like claymation, where you literally have to in order to make a scene, one section of a scene, the guy has to take the Lego guy, put it in a spot, and then the next scene is him lifting his leg up, and then you take a video of that, and then basically getting the guy to look like he's moving on his own all the way through the scene. They have trucks, explosions, smoke. It's incredible. So I strongly suggest that you go and check these out, because with everything going on and all the stress that I'm going through to get this whole moving situation taken care of, and moving the podcast, and then cleaning up all the other shit that I'm doing with, these Lego things have been as nothing short of enjoyable. So we're at 21 minutes right now. I'm gonna go ahead and close up shop. This is a Sunday leftover, so I'm just gonna call it right now. So my advice to you is, if you are a content creator, go and create some lockdown content. Right now, go out of your way. If you have a notebook, start writing and everything. Write all your thoughts, what you want to do. Get everything going for 2021. 2021 is going to be a crazy-ass year. Anybody who owns Tesla stock next week, I wish you luck. By the way, there are 3 companies moving to Texas. Number 1 is Tesla. Number 2 is Hewlett-Packard. And number 3 is Oracle. So keep that in mind. If you guys are stock nuts, there is some movement. 3 of these companies are from California. Goldman Sachs is obviously eyeing one of its HQs to move from New York to Florida. So just keep that in mind if you guys are looking at stocks and shit and the landscape of things to come. Florida and Texas, they're taking over. In the meantime, you can find me on Instagram at @positive_sarcasm. You can find me on Facebook.com/POS sarcasm. Or if you just want to be my friend, you can go ahead and hit me up at Facebook.com/positive sarcasm. Email me directly. Questions, concerns, comments, positive sarcasm at Outlook.com. I hope that 2021 leads to a better year for all you bodybuilders who are requesting posing music from me, and hopefully the stage will be open for you. I mean, I know the stage is open for a lot of you guys in Florida and in Texas, but I don't know about the other states. Like Pennsylvania's garbage right now. New York is fucking garbage right now. California's dog shit right now. But I know that Texas and Florida is still popping and still doing shows. But I hope that you guys get more access to other shows coming up soon, hopefully in 2021. And then that's it. I don't talk about vaccine shit. I'm all set. You'll know when that happens. That happens. Until then, I want to thank you guys for listening, watching, and subscribing. I will check in on you guys. I'll have more information about, hopefully, everything that's going down this coming Wednesday. Sorry for the late podcast, but, I had shit to do. What do you want me to fucking tell you? I'm rolling, baby. I got a full schedule. You think I'm just sitting here fucking liking shit on Instagram? But anyways, thank you guys for listening, watching, and subscribing. Find me on all social media. Hit me up on my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, share. Donate. PositiveSarcasm.com/donate. Until then, another couple weeks till Christmas. Happy Hanukkah, everybody. And I will talk to you all in a few days. Recorded here from the Spare Parts Studio. This has been a Positive Sarcasm presentation.